Have you heard about the rose? You see, she grew from a crack in the concrete, proving nature's laws all wrong. She learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping her dreams, she learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from the concrete when no one else even cared. No one else even cared. Katie, you're getting 5 new students in your 6-hour class to bring the total number of students to 37. And we're sorry, it's in a classroom built only for 25. And we're sorry that the desks are broken. And we're sorry that the kids have to sit on the floor. However, you have to grade 3 assignments per week per kid. That's 450 assignments per week. That is 2,250 assignments per month. Friends, that is 20,250 assignments per school year. But you cannot grade during the school day because there's not a sub to be had. You have to cover your colleagues every day. That's not all. You have a staff meeting, an IEP meeting, a grade level meeting, and a parent meeting after school. Also, little Johnny's mom is mad at you. Fix that. You need to make good parent phone calls and bad parent phone calls. You need to have innovative lessons, classroom management, and also we want to remind you to have self-care. How about a nervous breakdown? Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Kinder, and I am a public school teacher. That right there is a smidgen of what our teachers go through on a near daily basis. There's an alarming statistic that 50% of our new teachers are leaving the profession in the first 5 years. How will we sustain this noble profession? I have the answer. Teachers cannot die on more than 3 hills. Those hills have to be based on doing what is relentlessly best for kids every day. Here are mine. Number 1, safety. My kids can't learn. Your kids can't learn. Your grandkids can't learn unless they are safe. That's number 1. Number 2, innovating lessons, engaging and relevant. We can't teach our kids the way we did 10 years ago. We can't teach our kids the way we did 5 years ago. Our kids of 2019 are not our kids of 2022. They have been through a lot. We have to stay up to date with them because they matter. Number 3, kindness. I could choose to be upset about a broken education system and lash out at a coworker, or worse, a kid. Or I could choose to be kind. And you can too. There's nothing like working in a school. We're talking pep assemblies, crazy sock and hair day. And if you tell me that I can wear my pajamas to work, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it every time. Also, finding your teacher people, your teacher family, that's important. See, my husband, he works in finance, and he's cordial with his coworkers. He's like, walks in, hello, good morning. He goes to the occasional holiday party, but then he just crunches numbers. That's not what I do. This is messy, human work, and we need every one of us. Maybe the kid that isn't connecting with me will connect with the counselor or the teacher down the hall or the principal. We need every one of us. A few years ago, I was staying late in my classroom. See, I have 2 kids, and they are living their best life and I am their Uber. The free kind. Soccer practice, theater, singing, you name it, I drive it in my minivan. So sometimes I have to walk away from the piles of data, lessons, grading, and go be a mom, a wife, a friend. But sometimes I have to stay late because nobody can do the work of the teacher in the room except for me. So I was staying late a few years ago when my counselor walked in with a giant file. She thumped it on my desk, thump. And I said, "What is that?" And she said, "Katie, I'm so glad that I caught you. You are getting a new student tomorrow." And I looked up at her and really saw her for the first time. And she had those red-rimmed eyes of people who might have been crying. Because that's the thing about people in public education. They love kids and they want to affect change in their lives. She said, "You have to read about him before he comes tomorrow. He's coming to your second hour." And I inwardly cringed just a little because my second hour took just like a little bit longer to understand that I would accept nothing other than kindness and hard work and the family classroom. I said, "Okay, I'll read about him. We're going to call him Marcus." I opened up the file and I read about a boy who'd been kicked out of every home he'd ever known. An abused boy, a homeless boy, a boy who had gone through more in his 12 years than any of us should go through as adults. He'd been kicked out of every school he'd ever known, and I finally closed that file, and I put my head down on my desk, and I cried for a boy that I didn't even know yet. I packed up, I went home. My kids, my family was there. They wanted dinner. They want dinner every night, and so I cook it, and I thought about how fortunate they are to have a stable home. So the next day, in walks Marcus, all 6'2" and mad at the world. And I'm all like, "Woohoo! Marcus, I'm Miss Kinder. Yeah, you're going to sit right up here. We have assigned seats in here." And he said, "I don't sit in the front." And I said, No, we do in here. Woohoo, you're going to sit in the front, right here." And my well-trained second hours, my seventh graders, they're like looking from me, looking to Marcus, back, forth, like a tennis match. And they're thinking, what is she going to do? And I was thinking, what's she going to do? And on Marcus's first day in a brand new school, I asked him to step outside my classroom. And I got the kids working. And I walked out in the hall, and I saw a boy who was determined to hate me. Armor was thick. And because I'd read his file, I knew that he did not trust adults. So even though I'm 5'0", I made myself even smaller, and I crouched down, and I looked up at Marcus. And I said, "You don't know this yet, but I love you." He looked at me like, that was not what he was expecting. I said, "I love all my students. Listen, the only thing you have to do today is go in and sit at that seat. And there will be a full-size candy bar just waiting for you. I'll even give you an A today for going in, sitting at that seat, and then you can choose to eat the candy bar or not, or save it for later." He looked at me like, I don't know about this lady. I walked back in. I hoped for the best. And about 60 seconds later, in walks Marcus. And he sits down at that seat, and he ate that candy bar in 2 bites. And he put his head down on his desk, and he went to sleep. And I called that day a win. And I'd be lying to you right now if I told you that was my last issue with Marcus. I was resilient and showed up every day. I told him, you have to be resilient and show up every day. And we'll try again the next day. So we battled. We battled on a near daily basis. One day he would work 2 steps forward. The next day he'd throw a desk 18 steps back. And onward we went every day. And I would say to him, we're going to try again tomorrow because I'm going to be here. You're going to try again tomorrow because you're going to be here. And something started to happen. Marcus started to laugh and smile and work hard, popping in to my class every morning, between every hour. Miss Kinder, what's up? I went to science today. And I'm like, okay, I see you. He's like, Miss Kinder, I didn't get in trouble in math today. Okay. This kid had captured my heart. All of the adults in the building knew about my bond with this kid, and they would use it. Even my principal. Marcus is in the cafeteria making poor choices, and he would look at him and say, I'm going to tell Miss Kinder. And Marcus would say, no, I'd rather you call the police. And so it went. On the last day of school, 7th grade, all 6'2" of Marcus put his head in my shoulder and cried because he didn't want to leave. And I told him, I said, this isn't the end. I will help you. And so I did. I helped him write essays in high school. If he needed me at a sporting event, I was there. I watched him graduate from high school. I helped him fill out college applications. And I'm proud to tell you right now that Marcus is graduating from college this year. See, we wouldn't be mad at Marcus and his damaged pedals. No, we would celebrate his resiliency, his will to reach the sun. Marcus is the rose. His life was that concrete. Teachers, we need you. You are the roses. Teaching can be that concrete. But we can do hard things. Don't burn out. We need you. Thank you.